Finally. That's all I got to say today. Now I'm going home. The holiday weekend is over. It's Friday, TGIF. Now it's time to get ready for a fight.
Who's fighting?
Me?
About what?
Maybe I'll call it a trouncing, a butt kicking.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
I'm Lee Barrows.
Got your attention, don't I?
I'm like, what?
Let's get ready to blow out the upcoming Independence Day. For all of the right reasons, of course, as we mark the day that Americans stood up and proclaimed that we were not going to take more. And we did it. This year, it's special for me, with idiots protesting most anything and everything they can come up with, anti-this, anti-that movements here and there and everywhere. I think we need to mount an all anti-movements. One of y'all, one of the two of you brought up last week, maybe this week, a story about some people who are protesting Independence Day.
It was me.
Yes.
Maybe
And everything it stands for.
Mhm.
Those folks are threatening to kick people's butts who wish them a happy 4th of July. Okay.
Or have a barbecue or wear red, white, and blue.
Okay, bring it home. Those folks are threatening to kick my butt? Really?
I love how somebody try to kick mine.
Really?
Do it.
All y'all with that mentality, I'm going to give you some words to chew on. I'm offering the very first, early as it might be, the very first Happy Independence Day, 4th of July greetings to y'all.
We're going to do it every day.
Every day. You want to fight about it? It's okay, too, because I'm pretty sure that those folks have nothing in their arsenals but some stale hot air, rancid with the smell of their sweet-smelling bottles of designer water in faded pink colors.
We're on a
Did I
roll.
cover them or what?
I guess.
Of course, I offer my greetings with the most genuine, thought-provoking kindness that I can muster. That's about the best I can do to be kind. Anyway, it is Friday, and thank goodness it is. And
Yay.
we appreciate all of y'all joining us. I'm sure there's not a soul in our audience that is one of those anti-4th of July people.
No, but they're all right now going for their second cup of coffee because, we're like, what?
Oh, okay. We got them going. I got a lot of things to get going on this morning. So, but, anyway,
yes,
we'll
the start of it's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, well, it's going to end up being a good weekend, but the beginning of it's going to be a little bit on the sloppy side.
Yeah, tonight.
Got a little hot in France. Did you hear about that one? You missed it. Happened today
No, I missed it then.
in 1431.
Is that the guillotine incident?
Nope.
1431.
I don't like French history, so
I don't think I was born in.
Over there in what was then English-controlled, a little lady named Joan of Arc,
Oh, yeah.
the peasant girl who became France, was
Correct.
burned at the stake on
Yep.
this date for heresy. Born in 1412, the daughter of a tenant farmer on the border of the duchies of Bar and Lorraine. In 1415, the 100 Years' War. I love that 100 Years' War stuff. A 100 Years' War between England and France entered a crucial phase when the young King Henry V of England invaded France and won a series of decisive victories against the forces of King Charles VI. By the time of Henry's death in August of 1422, the English and their French allies controlled a big chunk of the territory in most of northern France, including Paris.
She was
So
only
Joan of Arc.
19.
Yeah, it was Joan of Arc.
19 years of age.
Well, they were full grown in those days. They were
They
adults.
just seem so young, too.
My life expectancy was, 32 or something? We forget about that. Way back when, even in this country, there was a time in the 1800s, life expectancy was like early 50s or something.
Trying to liberate Paris and she led the liberation of Orleans, triumphed with other victories against the English.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gosh, 19 years of age.
Look what she did. Look what she did with her teenage years.
Yeah, I was just going to say 19.
More than what a lot of people do with their teenage years.
More than what a lot of people do with their entire lives.
Yeah.
Think about that one
That's
for just a
true,
minute.
too.
So everything else good with you, ladies?
Very good.
got a, but yeah,
Mine's a little lower than
I
that.
woke up with it, but yeah.
What?
My headache's a little lower than my head. It's on the backside too.
Oh, mine's right here in my temple. So
I'm happy to say I feel great.
John,
I'm
that's good.
blessed.
it's not one of us is feeling
One of us is
Yeah.
One
yeah,
out of three is
still
not
here.
bad.
Yeah.
That's a 333
Yeah.
batting average, right?
Yeah.
I've had a couple people tell me that I'm too soft on Joe Biden and too hard on Donald Trump.
What? When did
They
that happen?
told you there's no way
I kid you not.
Yeah,
you
They say
are
I'm
lying.
Too soft on Joe Biden and too hard on Donald Trump. A couple even suggested that I'm not a good, stand by this, that I'm not a good Republican.
Well, you're not a Republican.
Some people have a problem.
You're a rhino.
Part
You're
of
making
your-
this up.
No, I'm not. Part of your misguided comments are based on a lack of understanding. You don't understand me. I don't understand me either. But to be perfectly clear, I'm not the worst Republican walking the earth these days.
Amen.
You're not a Republican.
We've got worse Republicans actually living not that far from me right now, at least according to what I understand of the GOP. Those Republicans are much worse than I am. And one more time, I am not a Republican.
No,
No.
he's not. He's
To be a
he's-
Republican, I would have on people there that I wanted to change my party affiliation from none to Republican.
And I tried for how many years bringing you stacks of voter registrations
Hey,
that
that's
still
already
remain in the
already
bookcase.
filled out. If you aren't really paying attention, that also means I'm not a Democrat. I'm a member of the Whigs, the Green Party, the Libertarians, the Forward Party, the Working Families Party, the Constitution Party, the Communist Party, or any other political organization that has a party as part of its name. I am unaffiliated, and I don't support any party in that size, one and all, without being a hypocrite. Now, let me explain to you the difference of me and the aforementioned Republicans that I've labeled bad Republicans, who claim to support and defend the party they are members of. But when they work against those selected by the majority of the party that they belong to, and they vote for people to lead them, who really thinks they are good Republicans? Applies to the minority party just as well, a major minority party that we have here in Oswego County, aka the Democrats. If you don't like the way your party is being run, then find a leader you like. Get enough support come election time for that person and put the leader the majority wants in place. The majority rules. What part of politics did you not understand?
Mm-hmm.
But working to undermine the duly chosen leader is self-destructive. And you know what? It's also, and further up the line, it could be called treason in other situations. In the case of Trump's versus Biden, like Obama, like Bush, like Clinton, like every other man to hold that office, they're has-beens. Okay? They have no power. They're not worth a lot of my time worrying about. I don't harp on the fact that I missed my intended exit off the interstate one day for any longer than it takes me to find another exit, even if I have to turn around and go to where I wanted to turn in the first place.
Yeah.
It's past me. All of that's over. If I want to correct it, then I will vote for, support, campaign for, find somebody else to replace that person. Especially in the Biden case, people continue to bash him and those who surrounded him during his presidency. We even have Congress wanting to take up time that could be spent moving this nation forward, working on ways to defend this country from our enemies, stopping the flow of illegals and illegal drugs coming into the country, looking for ways to reduce the cost of groceries, gasoline, and drugs, and especially for us, the seniors among us, the ones on fixed incomes who are the ones who actually need the most drugs just to get through another year. Instead, we have committees. We have investigators. They're spending our money to look for someone to blame, and even if they can find someone, what good will it do? None. If there is any takeaway on the tragic and senseless events during the Biden administration where a political party was lying through its teeth, so nothing new there, right? Nothing illegal either,
No,
right?
no.
Where a biased mainstream media went along with the cover-up, nothing new there either, nothing illegal. And historically, look back to the Marilyn Monroe cover-up by the media of her shenanigans with John Kennedy. What more to be gained by beating this dead horse? My God, rigor mortis has already set in.
Oh, God.
The voters learned, the voters did what voters do. If the party is convinced, then the things will change. If they make a mistake, guess what? If you made a mistake, the people who voted for Donald Trump, you're disappointed. 4 years, it's not that long. There's not a lot going to really happen. You brought him in, he's going to go out, and you can find somebody else to replace him. I want to know from our elected leaders at all levels what they're going to do for me today and for my family in the future. Get off your dead butts and get to work on something that actually matters.
Well, today is Elon's last day.
Okay, there's one step.
And because, he's a temporary government worker and they can only work 130 days a year.
Mhm.
So, but Doge is still there.
Doge is still doging.
They're still Dogeing.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a press conference today with
great.
Elon and Trump. So I'll be interested to hear.
Show me what you've
I
done.
want a list. I want it in
Show
black
me
and
what you've
white.
done. I want to see dollars.
Why
I
have
do too.
we stopped hearing about Tesla dealerships being firebombed? Have they moved on to something new other than not wanting the 4th of July?
They're probably being caught.
Yeah.
There's been some of
there
them
has
caught.
been
What's the-
some arrests.
What's the latest? Yeah, but I mean, what's the latest tactic from?
I think they finally find out that he's a very small stakeholder in the Tesla group.
Right.
Well, you
I mean,
bring-
he owns some stock in it, but
Yeah.
it's not
Well, you
all
bring up a good
Elon
point,
Musk.
Kelly, because look at that group of Democrats that were going out to demonstrations and getting up there and protesting, and a few of them arrested for shoving ICE agents, and now all of a sudden it's just stopped.
Well, and we're also not hearing any more about them trying to free all the Venezuelans or whoever down at the prison. The illegals that we.
Guess what? People down at the prisons that are allowed the one major idiot and two follow-up idiots to come in and see that other idiot that was in custody.
Yeah.
They're not allowing anybody else. And a few of those wannabe Congress people want to get some publicity. They are really unhappy. I can't go down. I can't get any publicity. Are these other people dead? I can't go down there. I can't get any publicity because they won't let me in the country. Well, good. Stay home. Do some work.
Wow.
Hold on, I want to look up something I heard yesterday to see if it's confirmed before I bring it up.
Okay.
Well, while you're looking that up, you want the latest stats on voters in Onslow County?
Yeah.
Okay, right now we have, as of this week,
You mean Oslo County has?
Onslow County
Okay.
has a total of 125,871 registered voters.
Okay.
That's Onslow County. All right, Republican, 49,524. Democratic, 21,248. And unaffiliated, 52,803.
My people are still ahead of the
My
pack.
people,
Man,
my
man.
Your
And-
people just
And
don't.
we're not
no,
even a party. We're not affiliated party like some
No, you
are.
people have it easy because you just sit back and just like where we Republicans are putting our money and our blood and our sweat and our tears out there paving the pavement, pounding the pavement,
Yeah, one more time. I want to hear it.
pounding the
Paving the
pavement.
pounding.
Yeah, that sounded good. I'm a Republican, so I always have it backwards. But we're out there doing things, and the Democrats, they do the same thing. They put their blood, sweat, tears, and their money. Unaffiliates just sit back. Y'all don't do anything but go to the polls.
Have you? You should have checked it by now. Have you checked the contributions to any of the major political candidates?
No, and I'm not going to.
And,
I'm just
find out who
jesting with
contributed
you.
and find out who contributed what to them.
Well, do you see an
And what party they were
unaffiliated
with?
group here in Onslow County that has fundraisers
Mhm.
and they go out there and they work the polls for the
They
candidates?
contribute from their own pockets. They don't dig into your pocket to get money out to give to somebody else. They
Mm-hmm.
reach into their own pockets and give.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Rayford.
And
No,
they-
I'm
and then
just-
they don't
I'm
go
just
bragging
jesting
about it.
on you all.
And then they don't go bragging about it. I'm just saying.
They're just jesting on you.
But the biggest thing that they do,
What's that?
they vote.
Yeah. Well, so do all these others. This is current stats right now, so it's good to see Onslow climb. I'd like to see what Meckham
Well, I got a
does.
question.
You
Shoot.
go with it.
So yesterday, someone had mentioned to me that I'm gonna call it a rumor because I don't know.
Okay.
I have seeing some facts, but I want to see more before I say, okay, this actually happened. That Elizabeth Warren was the one behind the auto pinning of a lot of
I heard that
things
too.
of Biden's signature. So wouldn't that be a crime that she was technically impersonating the president on official documents?
No. If she was without his knowledge, yes. But if she was doing it, yeah, I know where we're going to go with this. I'm going to give you the other thing here.
Okay.
If she was doing it without his knowledge, yeah, it'd be a problem. If she was doing it with his knowledge, under normal circumstances, that's allowed.
I guess. See
Here'd
what
be the
this
problem.
is.
Here'd be the problem that some of the folks are talking about. I don't know whether we can ever go anywhere with it. The only significant thing that would ever come into play here, I'm not sure it's worth the effort if it's proven that Joe Biden was not cognitive enough to know what he was doing.
Correct.
During the pardoning of all of those people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was signed with an auto pen.
And he couldn't direct it, is my point.
That's what I'm saying. If that is proven, then that is the only thing that anybody right now could actually bite into that apple and find.
Well, here's what started it. A key Trump administration official has claimed that left-wing Senator Elizabeth Warren called the shots on the Biden administration's restrictive approach to cryptocurrencies. White House artificial intelligence and crypto czar David Sachs argued Tuesday night that Warren has a pathological hatred for crypto and pushed the Biden administration to suppress the nascent technology. And he's claiming that she had the auto pen.
But my next question becomes,
Well,
why would the vice president not be the one using the auto pen? Now, I know you're going to say because she never did anything, but my question is,
we'd have to find her, number one.
but wouldn't the likely person?
Number two, she's the vice president, but the vice president does pretty much nothing presidential
I thought they're supposed to fill in.
unless the president cannot.
Well, that's
do
what
it.
I'm saying. Wouldn't
But
the
that
logical
that
person
would
be?
acknowledging that the president was not in
True.
control, and therefore you have a whole brand new situation.
Okay, I agree with that. But I mean,
The country, the party, the Democrats will just self-destruct. They may as well just quit.
well, wouldn't it? Now I'm about to throw another theory at you. Wouldn't this kind of lead, make a person suspect that perhaps the vice president was completely kept in the dark and there was a whole nother group really behind the scenes running things that she was unaware of, or maybe aware, but I'm thinking not, which is even scarier. I do not like Elizabeth Warren at all.
You
Like,
got
not
to
even
get
a
a little
little
bit
bit.
honest.
And it's not
she's crazy.
surprising that she would be behind it, but I'm just still questioning why that would not lead to some type of charges. Because my personal opinion, they should. Now, who am I? Nobody. But
What's
just
her
in
age?
how my thought
What
process.
is her age?
I don't know.
I mean,
a million?
I tell you.
She's hateful. She's
If
hateful.
they
She's a
conducted
million.
an
Yeah.
investigation,
She's a
if they launch an investigation today
75.
at that level for her, and by the time they conclude that investigation, you're looking at 3 years,
Yeah.
maybe 4. By the time they get, if they could, get it through an indictment through a grand jury, you're looking at another year.
Okay.
Because the prosecution is going to have to work on it, the attorney general. And by the time they get there, she's going to be in her 80s. And then by the time they get to trial, which will be another 3 to 5 years down the road for a federal trial, she's done. Why are we going to even waste that kind of money on her?
One, to stop it in its tracks from others. But two, then my next question becomes, why wasn't Pelosi the auto pen person?
Nobody
We don't know who
likes
was
her.
the auto
Well,
pen.
okay.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
just curious.
she doesn't even like herself. Remember,
and you what? I think Barack Obama was behind a lot
he
of
was
this.
involved.
He was the powerhouse.
He was
in
the one.
group.
Actually, he was the one maintaining the as much stability as they had going during that period of time. You know, he knew what Biden was. He didn't even support him for the longest time.
Well, I think that one of the only reasons he supported him is I don't think he likes Kamala Harris.
He doesn't.
Yeah, and he's kind of said that.
Uh-huh.
But I think even he
Michelle
knew.
doesn't like her either.
I think she was used because of her
Because she was a black
sex and
female.
race.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well, we all
I
think
do
that.
believe it, which is that's wrong. But
I agree. I don't know. Okay. Then I got something else. But let's do our weather. 'Cause
Okay,
this
let's
is North
look-
Carolina news.
Yeah, let's look
Texas.
towards the ocean. A marine forecast still a bit sloppy, but
let's do
there are
that.
calm seas coming up ahead today. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 with a gust of 25 this afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet. They're going to be about 5 seconds apart. A little dicey when they're 5-footers. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop becoming choppy in the afternoon. A chance of showers with a slight chance of thunder boomers. We had some of those last night here.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Tomorrow, westerly winds 15 to 20 with gusts of 30, seas 4 to 6 feet, subsiding to 3 to 4 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers choppy. Sunday, now we're talking. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming southwesterly 5 to 10 knots in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers only a moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon. That's the current forecast. Check tomorrow, though, about Sunday before you go out on Sunday, because things change. Don't count on this being a long-range forecast.
We maybe get some weather next week.
Here on land today, there's a 40% chance of showers and or thunderstorms, mainly according to this between noon and 3. Now we'll see. Otherwise, in between all that, partly sunny, a high of 84, with some gusts though. Now, tonight, 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms.
Chris.
Otherwise, a low of 59 and gusty. Tomorrow, sunny, yay. High of 82, yay. With up, a little gusty though, 22 miles an hour, but it's only 30% chance. It doesn't seem like it's going to rain tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 57. And on Sunday, sunny, high of 83. So tomorrow and Sunday, for now, look great.
Right now.
Yeah.
It can change. It can
absolutely.
change. Chris, how are ya?
Good morning, Rayford and Kelly Lee. How's everybody?
Good morning. We haven't heard from you in a couple days.
Much better now that I hear that voice.
Did you fall off the face of the earth?
No. Just getting ready for the big, exciting Wreath Across America, Wreath on and Off Fallen Veterans bike run tomorrow.
Good.
Weather looks great.
Oh.
Yes, it's going to be fine.
I'll take
It's
her.
going to be fine. We've got a lot of crafters coming out there, and we have what looks to be a large contingent of bikers that are going to come out there.
Hey, y'all
So,
be careful around the bikers tomorrow, would you please?
Yes, right. We're going to have 4 Onslow County Sheriff deputies, Onslow's finest, out there to help
Right,
escort them.
right.
It's going to be about a 1-hour run, and we're going to have Commissioner Tim Foster out there for some opening comments, and it's going to be a good time. Weather's good, and we hope people, if they don't ride, come out there, support the crafters. More importantly, support Wreaths honoring our fallen veterans. This is our one big fundraiser for this year.
I got a great idea, and I don't know why I come up with these great ideas when I'm talking with you, but I do. Kelly's shaking her head. She's scared to death. I think the chairman of the Board of Commissioners should get on one of the bikes on the back, and the vice chairman should get on the handlebars.
So wrong. So wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just take a little loop around the block or so. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
Be worth a lot of pictures.
Well, the vice
I've
chairman
done
rides.
I understand, but I wouldn't ride on the handlebars.
Make sure their life insurance policies are intact if they're going to be on the handlebars.
That'd be all right.
But so we just want to again thank Live and Local Real Talk for letting us publicize our events, and we're looking for just a great turnout. And again, folks, if you're just driving around, you got nothing to do, come look at the crafters.
That'd be great.
People.
Very
That'll be
nice.
fun. The motorcycles will be fun watching them take off. just similar to Rolling Thunder event last weekend, and there's going to be hot dogs, chips, and bottled water afterwards. There's no charge for that. So we hope everybody can come out there. Real quick on the auto sign. I don't know Liz Cheney was a subordinate of Biden. He can pick subordinates to sign, but you're right. Biden or Obama was the first one to put the auto pen into effect.
Yeah, Michelle needed that.
Well, I would like to see. I saw on the news last night that they would like Jill Biden to go in front of a committee to explain why she didn't explain her husband's downfall in health. It'd be interesting.
Well,
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I would not if I was in her shoes. That would be ridiculous. But
yeah, it's all over.
Why waste our freaking time with it? They got positive things to be doing. Get on with the program. That horse is left. It's gone. It's dead.
Okay.
Rigor mortis is set in on that one. Move on.
Here's an idea for that committee or any committee. Take 5 minutes and vote one time at a time of year. It takes 5 minutes.
Yep.
But one time. Daylight savings time or Eastern.
Listen, if they can't make a decision on something that simple, if our Congress, 535 people, 435 in the House, 100 in the Senate, if the 535 people can't get their off the butts and get this on the floor and take the vote once and for all, this or this,
pretty sad.
Then you know why? What else do we expect them to get done if they can't do that? They'll never get anything done. And that's pretty much the case.
Your question.
That's pretty much the case.
I think you just answered your question.
Well, I did.
Anyway, you three have a great weekend. If you can come out to Harley Davidson, Highway 17 South, where it kicks off. And
10 o'clock, I think?
10. Open at 10.
Okay.
Kickstands go up at 11:30. And we'll have fun in between.
All right. Anybody gonna be riding a bike with the playing cards in the spokes? I guess not.
There's a chance I will, but I don't think I can make it in an hour. So I'll just do the hot dogs.
All right, there you go.
Chris.
Y'all have a
Thank you,
blessed day.
Chris,
don't go.
I talked to
Yeah.
Debbie. I talked to Debbie from Wilmington Wednesday. She's going to try to make it out Saturday.
Yes. She mentioned that, and I hope that we'll have a couple actually from Carolina Beach, Oak Island, and Hampstead will be coming in. So we're getting support from other counties. Yeah, other counties, other areas, and by the way, that just reminded me, we are 134 wreaths short of 1,000.
Okay. All right.
And we need
We're
7,000 folks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Now, and Monday or Tuesday, whenever, I would like to sit down with you for just a minute, or by phone, or come in here, or whatever. I think I have a real positive. If we can do it, and I'll be glad to help you. Matter of fact, probably the three of us would go with you as your security force and your persuasive techniques.
Here, just give me one of those.
To talk with some individuals in a positive way. It's something that would look good for them, and it wouldn't cost them. It would cost them next to nothing, because it would only be based upon if somebody bought certain things from them.
Please tell us so
I'm
Kelly and
all
I
for it.
can check our calendar and make sure we're not available. I mean, we're available.
Oh, you will be happy to go
Make
for
sure you're
this.
available.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think among the four of us, we probably know enough individuals. This group of business people that we should be able to get something done.
Sounds great. I look forward to it.
One small step. Sure.
Chris, can you tell me what the monetary amount is that we need to get all those wreaths bought?
Uh-oh.
17.
Can you let me know what that is?
Off the top of my head, 17, 7, 49, 9.
Yeah.
Wait. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about $70,000.
Okay.
How many are missing? How many do we have to go?
We almost have 1,000. We need 7,000.
Yeah, we have. Well, we need actually for this. So we picked up on some more.
Oh, that's
because
right.
there's 1,500 veterans there, so we need about 8,500.
Yeah.
And then anything left over, we would donate to other.
Okay, but
Other
I mean,
veterans
for this
cemetery.
event, it's $17 a piece. How many wreaths do we need to fill and get $17 a piece for?
8,500.
We need another
No,
8,500.
we need another
Well, we need
7,500.
7,500.
7,500.
7,500.
7,500. Okay.
Yeah.
That's $127,500.
Yep. That's what I
Yep.
got too.
Well, I'm glad your
And,
calculator's the same as mine.
Mine's on my phone.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it-
you're using a phone app, Rayford.
I'll say this. That was. I heard that. Oh, that
Rayford
gas.
never uses a phone app. What is happening?
We love picking on Rayford with his phone.
No, he. I
Oh,
think.
Get the look.
I'm
It should-
impressed.
So my understanding from Senator Lazar is once Onslow County's budget is approved and passed, he can start looking for some state monies. We're
Okay.
also looking for some money from Congressman Murphy, and yes, we are still trying with our senators in D.C. So,
The bad thing
Yeah,
about
we'll-
that, of having to count on the local government and to count on the federal government, is that is a this time only if it gets passed.
Mhm.
And then you got to start all over again as soon as you get that. And then
Yep.
you got to start all over
Right.
again for next year because you fight year round for this, Chris.
Mhm.
You and Kathy are
Yeah.
out there busting your backsides 12 months of the year. And this is what's on your mind when you get up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night. I know it is.
Well, doesn't the military
Yeah.
still do the CFC campaign? Like,
Yes.
why?
Because I know exactly what you're going to say, and you're absolutely right. We need to get the wreaths for fallen veterans on there, but we have to be a 501c3 first.
That's on the way.
And Chris and I are working on that, and
Okay.
Kathy, we're working on that. And as soon as we can get that established, then we're going to go further with that, right, Chris?
yes, we are, and we're actually.
That's a good
I'm very
point.
proud of our group, and I want to say our group. Lee, it's your group. Kelly, your group. Rayford, your group. Reverse order this time. And it's all the people that have donated, the people that are putting up the crafts, the motorcycle riders. It's our group. It's our veterans, and I want people to keep this in mind. It's ours. O-U-R. Not Chris, not Kathy, not Rayford, but all of us as a combined. It's all of us, and it's all of Onslow County. And one last thing I'd like to mention is this. If you donated last year, that wreath is gone. It lived,
Oh, yeah.
it represented, and it's gone. So if you did one last year, you want one on your family member's gravesite this year, we need you to purchase one.
Mhm.
And that's the important thing is people obviously may think, okay, I did it last year. It's already done. It's not done. It has to be done every year. But y'all
It
are
is.
right. We start the day after, and we'll go until the last day that we can do it.
We need
And
we
it's
need
because of
something
you
that's going to
folks.
be perpetual. At least a big chunk of it is going to be perpetual. It should just be automatically there every year. A certain amount of money. We got to figure out.
You're a
way.
wise man, Redford, because guess what? Because I don't want to keep you on. We actually have one that it's an annual. You sign up, and automatically it happens every year
Oh, that's cool.
as a donation. So
That would be good.
That's good too. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you,
talk to you
Chris.
folks on next week. Have a blessed
Yeah, I'm
weekend.
sure
Thank
we'll see
you for
you
what you
over the
do.
weekend.
Yeah, you'll be here one day.
Okay.
We'll get you in.
I want to bring up those, the state government's trying to finalize, trying to finalize the budget. Did you know there's a tax debate that's going on? So the House and Senate Republicans already agreed to cut the state income tax rate for 2026
Right.
from 4.25% to 3.99%. It's a little bit of a cut, but every little bit helps. So the Senate wants to propose for 2027 lowering it down to 3.49%. But the House
Doesn't
people,
want to,
they
right?
don't want to do it.
What's wrong with them?
You know,
The
ask
House-
them. Let's ask Phil Shepard. I don't
Well,
know.
that's Phil Shepard. And let's get
And what's his
Mr.
name?
Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Yeah,
we need to ask
Wyatt
him.
Gable. We need to
Yeah.
get him in there anyway.
because I'm like, why not? I mean, we all need what we can get.
Yeah, the Senate wants to lower it to 3.49%.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the House is putting up a stink about that?
yes.
They just don't want to.
They don't want to lower it that
Yeah,
much.
I'm not sure why.
Well, we'll have them explain themselves.
And some people are trying to say it'll make the budget less stable. Phil Berger,
Phil Berger.
I know, says he doesn't think it will make it less stable. So he's not sure. And I don't know if this is just one of those rare times where the House and Senate are just totally at odds. I just don't know. But as a citizen,
see how is that along party lines?
Yeah, I mean,
that's gonna be the thing.
Well, the House is arguing.
The House Republicans don't want it.
The House Republicans do not want it.
No, they're happy with what they've already agreed to and no more.
Well, they're arguing that the lower cut would cut the state's budget by about $2 billion. They don't want the state budget cut them. They don't care about us.
But I would think
Well, then quit spending so much.
we could doge out. Let's start doing some doge here and
Just let me
see what
doge
we
it
can
for a
cut.
while, huh?
And I mean, like I said,
The line was tough. Give me that budget.
I'm still not convinced that some of the state workers are still not working from home, and that building that I'm thinking about.
We need
The
to go
ones
up
I'm
there
thinking
one
of. We need a road trip. I'm
We-
supposed
we-
to go to a meeting up
We
there.
need a
But
road trip. We need to do an investigative
Start
report.
beating on the doors on camera.
Yeah.
Let me in. Let me in.
yeah,
I'm going to blow your house down.
and I don't know.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't say
I'll
that.
tell
That'd
y'all
be a
something
problem.
off air.
No, I don't mean. I'm just thinking of the
gotcha.
little
Yeah.
piggy story in the
So,
world.
but anyway, I'm just hopefully they can get their lives together and agree and cut our taxes even more.
Hope so.
No, but
I
in the
do-
same respect, if the Republicans, I'm just taking the other side right now.
Yeah,
If the Republicans feel like they can cut it that much, and for us, which is great, why can't, instead of taking that cut, put it on education?
I agree.
See, so
I
yeah.
agree completely.
Yeah, that's what-
Couldn't tell you.
Keep talking. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I got a flight story because
Oh my
as if
God.
my pigeon story.
I heard
wasn't
the
enough.
pigeon story yesterday
Pigeon
you talked
stories,
about,
that's
and I
right.
was going to bring
But
that up,
here's
so I'm
one-
glad you did.
This is bizarre. And I watched the video and so I have a lot of questions. It actually took place December 2024 in Miami. So what happened was some Canadian guy named Cameron McDougall, he's 28. He's from Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Okay, was on a flight. So let me start the whole backstory. From Panama City to Toronto, okay? He, on this flight on December 27th of last year, somehow something happened on the flight and he hit a passenger. Like, I don't know if it was a fight or he just felt like he wanted to hit some. I don't know.
It was intentional.
Yes.
Okay.
So the pilot diverted the flight to Miami, where Mr. McDougall was removed
Now,
from.
he left where?
Hey, they're in the air. They're in Panama City. They were flying
Florida.
Yeah, I'm assuming yes.
Why would you fly in the direction of Miami?
I don't know if it's Panama City, Panama, because it was a Copa Airlines flight. So I'm thinking
Oh, okay.
maybe it was
Okay.
Panama City, like
Gotcha.
Panama,
There you go.
to Toronto. Because at first I thought Panama City, Florida don't make
He's just
sense.
flying
But
the
yeah,
wrong way for that.
yeah. So, but it was Copa Airlines. So because of him hitting, all it says is he hit another passenger.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't say the passenger fought back. The pilot diverted the flight to Miami, where the man was removed, but he wasn't arrested. That's kind of weird to me right off the bat, because usually you are, but okay. So they're claiming that he was told he could book another flight back to Canada. So he bought a ticket on Air Canada for the next day, which was December 28th. So apparently he gets to the Miami airport on December 28th.
No fly list.
Gets ready to board. And this time inside the airport, this fool had already cleared TSA. At 6:37 in the morning, he hit another passenger,
Oh,
another random passenger.
okay. He's not the one that went against the TSA guys, was he?
Yes, we hadn't got to that yet.
Okay.
Yes. So he had already gone through checkpoint and find some
Duh.
other random passenger and just hit him. Like, does he hate fellow flyers? I don't know. So security guard tried to intervene when he saw what happened. He got assaulted. So then 2 minutes after that, Mr. McDougal returned to the TSA area and tried to beat down a TSA supervisor.
Now you've got a
So
federal
then-
issue going on with you, Bubba.
The supervisor starts dodging the punches. Another officer who was trying to restrain him was hit in the face at least 3 times and got injured. So airport surveillance video, I mean, this, if you've watched, have you seen the video? He's
No.
acting a fool. It got released this week. And he was throwing punches at everybody, got flipped over the little screening bin. And then they had this guy down on the ground trying to subdue him. And he was just like a madman. Like, I don't understand. So on May 19th, he pled guilty. But now he hasn't been sentenced. He won't be sentenced till June 2nd.
How did he
This
get
is
back
all
to
in
Canada?
Florida.
How did he get back to Canada?
Good question. Apparently he did.
I would have given him a telephone number and said, call Uber. You're not flying.
It's very, I wondered that because it's unclear. So, it was federal charges. So we all know how this is going to go.
Yeah, not good.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to be sentenced it says he's scheduled to be sentenced in federal court May 30th. Each federal
That's
charge
today.
carries, it is today. I really have to know now. Each federal charge carries a penalty of 1 year in prison. I think he got a charge for every TSA officer he hit.
If he hits
And there was like 3 or 4 of them. But then it also says, because he also faces state charges, 3 felony counts of battery on a law enforcement officer, and 1 misdemeanor battery, and that's for hitting a passenger.
Local cops were there.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And then he goes back in state court June 2nd. That's what it is. So, I'm wondering 2 things. 1, if after this brouhaha, if he wasn't just held in with no bail, I don't know. 2, if they said you can go home, but you got to be back for court, I don't know. But I wouldn't put this guy on a plane. He hates everybody. Apparently, he just hates.
He would not fly. He would be banned forever.
Lord.
And here's what he looks like. Like he looks very kind of unassuming.
Looks like
He looks
somebody
like
I
a
know,
nice
but
guy.
I don't
He's
think
like,
it's
a
not him.
nice little Canadian citizen who apparently is not nice and wants to fight everybody. And I mean,
Maybe he was having a bad day at the office.
well, on a flight, yeah, but
Maybe
okay.
he couldn't bring his drugs on the flight from Panama.
I don't know,
flight
but then
list.
he had the whole layover because
Maybe
remember
he
a
should
whole
have had
day
drugs.
to think about it and got through TSA without acting out, and then found some random passenger and hit him.
I'm thinking 5 Benadryls and 7 Ambiens ought to take care of him on that flight.
I'm surprised he didn't get a beat down from
Yeah.
some passengers.
That's what I'm thinking. Either they thought this guy is super crazy and he just looks.
Somebody,
I don't know.
some passenger there should have had some experience, either military or law enforcement, with the
I would have
chokehold.
thought
With
so.
the chokehold, cops can't use
And here
it.
we go with the chokehold.
Cops can't use it, but that's not going to stop me from using it if need be,
That's
for
right.
a defensive
I
purpose.
don't understand.
What about you? You're
And
going to
why
use
did
it.
you
What
go-
everything you can
But then the
use.
question becomes, why
I
did this
use
guy
mace.
get all the way through TSA on that second day? Clear, security. Gets to where he's going and says, you know what? I don't like that guy in that red shirt over there, so I'm going to punch him out.
Oh,
Just
bring it
some
on.
random passenger.
Bring it on. I need to be
Yeah.
suing somebody.
Well, Kelly, have you kept up with the Lily and Jack Sullivan missing children story?
No.
Oh, this
I don't
just
think
so.
makes
Who are they?
me think of they're out of Nova Scotia.
Oh,
No, I
But
haven't. Tell me.
are they famous?
no, they've been missing. And around 10 a.m. on May 2nd, the young siblings were reported missing and having wandered from a home in Pictou County, and this is in Nova Scotia. The Sullivans both attended Salt Springs Elementary, where they were last seen at school on April 29th. They did not have school on April 30th and were home sick May 1st and 2nd. And they have conducted.
That's the story of the parents. Is that correct?
That's the story.
I'm
Chef
just-
Fact.
I mean, that's first thing I do.
Said Corporal Cindy Mathenow with the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Major Crime Unit, stated in a press release on Wednesday, we've confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st. The family is claiming that the kids slipped out a sliding door in the back of the house. The parents were unaware and they wandered away. And they
Okay.
said they're both autistic.
Any Okay,
But
I would
okay.
verify that, but I'd also check and see what other calls have been at that house.
Well,
And at school,
and they're cute little kids. I'm looking at their
Yeah,
picture
you're
now.
looking at them.
But what is odd? Okay, name one
they're
parent.
both autistic.
Lori Vallow.
They're both
Daybell.
They're both
Well,
autistic.
That what they claim, which that could be true.
Mhm.
But okay, name one parent that when you hear silence when you got
Right.
small kids, that you don't go check. I mean,
Silence is not golden when you're a parent.
that's true. But
Well, I've been
let me tell you,
following
when
this
my children
story.
were quiet in 30 seconds, I was trying to figure out why. Because
You're
You know.
suspicious.
I do the
So
same
my-
thing with my dogs.
yeah,
When they're
Yeah,
they're too
that's why
quiet,
when
I'm
my
not
dogs
looking.
used to be, I'd be like, okay, what's getting tore up right now? So yeah, I
Yes.
mean, how do you? Let me try to.
They were
see.
last seen Jack Sullivan 4 and his
He's cute as a
sister
button.
Lily 6
They're cute.
were last seen about 10 a.m. on Friday on a road close to their home.
Now the mom claims that these are not the type of kids that would go outside on their own.
Now, what Lori said,
Oh, I know that.
their parents believe
Yeah.
the kids went out a sliding back door of the family's home while stepfather Daniel and mother Maleha
Oh.
fed their baby.
It takes two people to feed a baby, but I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cops
a lot
are
of
working on the
questions.
assumption that
You
the
got
children.
stepdaddy, and mama have a baby together.
Yes.
There are two problem children
Lori
in the household, right?
Daybell,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
which made another appearance in court the other day, Kelly.
Oh, I need.
She claimed that one of the jurors had misconduct and she was trying to get her latest charge thrown out. And her and the judge got into a shouting match.
that crazy Lori Daybell, the one that killed her kids,
Been married
And-
4 times,
and she
and
killed
her and the 4th husband killed.
his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Her ex-husband wasn't her ex-husband killed too,
Yes,
and a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law.
I'll
or
watch it on TV. It'll
and
be
the
there in a
kids.
year.
Yeah, the kids were killed and buried out in their backyard.
Yeah, and then her and him were arrested in
Busy.
Hawaii.
She claims that the cult type religion she became a part of told her that the kids were evil
And they were
had to die.
possessed. They had to die. And that one of them was like 16. The other one was
Yes.
And,
Was he
and
10?
this was Nova Scotia. No,
No, this
was
is
a
different.
US
This is here in
yeah.
Utah and,
And
where was
she
it,
is-
Arizona.
Arizona.
Utah's got the
Arizona.
death penalty. Go ahead, bring it
Right.
on. She's trying to avoid the
She
death
got
penalty.
convicted of one thing, but isn't this her second trial? Lee, I'm trying to think. And she's representing herself, which is
Good.
Yeah, that trial's over with. She was representing herself.
And
She was found guilty of being complicit and
Yeah.
being a part of the first degree murder of her
was it the daughter or
her
the son?
husband, her third
Oh,
husband.
yeah, that's right.
No, her 4th husband.
Good God, who's
They had
found-
already killed the 3rd husband, and
Mhm.
this was the 4th
She's
husband.
killing everybody.
It's just yeah.
And if you look at her, like,
Yes, she still has to go to court
Yeah.
for the attempted murder on her. Was it her
it was
sister-in-law?
her sister-in-law, I think. She tried
Yeah.
to kill her, but she survived.
She's crazy,
They killed her current husband's ex-wife.
right?
Now they think that don't they think there was a second ex-wife? I mean, everybody's killing everybody, but she killed her 2 kids. They found their
Just-
remains.
She had
Find
her
them guilty. If
brother.
they're guilty, find them guilty. Don't worry about all the others. Just take them over and straight away.
She had her brother kill her. She was married to the guy at the time. Kill her husband,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was said that she helped her brother set the whole thing up. That's what the last
And
trial
then the
was
brother
about.
died.
And the brother died
And-
suddenly.
And no one's ever even said anything about the brother dying. He's the one that killed one of them's spouses. Yeah.
Supposedly he had some type of aneurysm. Boom, and he was gone.
You know,
I think it was by needle.
It's a
I
TV
watched,
movie.
I watched a documentary about the assassination of Lincoln the other day.
Oh,
A
wow.
very long one. It's a series, like 6 or 7 episodes. And it was well done. I mean, a lot of the stuff I knew, a lot of the stuff I'm like, okay, I wonder if they're going to cover what I know. And they did, which is really unusual facts.
Yeah.
And then came to the trial. Not for the boy, because he'd be dead,
Right.
because they killed him as he was trying to come out of the barn and surrender.
I did know that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
But then all the people that aided and abetted,
Mhm.
including the doctor, Dr. Mudd.
That's where that phrase "your name is Mud" came from.
Yes, pretty much.
Yes.
And anyway, he was sentenced to life in prison, but 5 people, including the woman, I forgot her name, that was involved in helping him get out of town and yada, yada, yada. 5 of them were tried, found guilty today, sentenced to hang tomorrow, and they did all at one time.
Well, I agree. That's how they used to do things. Why did that stop? But yes, that's how. But let me ask you this about the Dr. Mudd. I remember reading from a young age, he said his broken leg or something, right? Or
he said his broken
ankle?
leg, but he knew where to go. That was he had already had documentation that they had been at parties and stuff together in Washington. He claimed to the troops that went by there, this guy came by and I'm a family doctor and I fix everybody's broken.
Oh, so you're saying Mudd was involved?
Mudd was heavily involved from the get-go. He was on the list.
About that. Okay.
They went from D.C. to Maryland to his house.
Oh, okay.
And he said,
how did I miss that?
Okay, that was part of the whole deal.
So I always thought he was just some random doctor.
No.
Okay, that makes sense now, Rayford. A lot of sense.
And then it was the relay from there all the way back down towards Richmond. But they got him before they got to Richmond. There was nothing in Richmond waiting for him anyway. But.
Well, why wasn't Mudd put to death? They're hanging everybody else. Why didn't they hang him? Because he was a doctor?
Don't know how much of the advance planning that he was involved in, other than he would be the guy along the escape route. They didn't expect him to coming there with a broken leg.
Well, that's true too, I guess.
He was just going to be there as a person. And here you go. This is escape route. We'll give you some food and water and be on your way.
Because didn't he get the broken leg jumping or something?
Yeah, when he did the shooting, he stood up high and said, freedom, or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever he said, yeah.
And then he jumped.
And that's what broke his leg.
Below.
That's what, okay.
And he was a little bit frail guy as it was, like the loafers and everything.
Okay, so he broke his leg and limped away.
Yeah, which would have made it even worse. So anyway, he had to live with that. But for, a month or something before they got him?
I knew about the burning of the barn. I did know that. I don't know why I never realized that Mudd knew it in advance. I just always thought
one of the guys in the garrison that was there, a sergeant, I think it was a sergeant, and he could see through a knothole. So one guy came out. He could see through a knothole. He could see Booth inside, still with a gun, but he was planning to come out. He made a name for himself. He shot through the knothole and killed Booth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Huh, didn't know that. I just learned something.
Did not know that either. Interesting information.
Cool.
It's a really good series if you
that.
pick it up sometime or another.
I have to watch
Who we
that.
got?
I will watch that.
That is Steve. And real quick, while you're getting him online, I watched a document series last night, and it was National Geographic on the meteorologists and his crew that were killed chasing a tornado in 2013. The El Reno.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Sam, what was his name? Tim Samaras.
Yeah.
And his son Paul and their colleague Carl Young.
I have no reason to chase something like that.
That was crazy.
They call them killer storms.
It was the El Reno tornado.
Why would you do
Steve, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July coming up. Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and take me on for that.
Well, this one comes every year, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. How about in England?
Steve's having a barbecue. We're all going there.
Do they have a 4th of July in England? Think about who we were fighting. Do they have
everybody
a 4th
has
of
a
July?
4th of July. They don't celebrate it.
You saw through that one.
I've learned your tricks.
Steve wasn't going to see through it, though.
Steve is smart. He would know.
Yeah,
he knows your games.
Hey, I wanted to speak on what y'all were talking about with Mudd this morning.
Yes.
And I believe Mudd was eventually acquitted of all charges, and that's where the saying comes. Even though he was acquitted, his name was still Mudd. It was still living infamy.
Well, he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. It may have been overturned, or it may have been released, or whatever.
Steve,
I don't know.
Check it out.
I think they eventually overturned it, and he was acquitted of all charges. But his name was still. That's
his name was still Mudd. Yeah, he went to a federal pen And that island, oh God, what is it? It's off the coast of Florida, down in the Gulf of America now, in the Caribbean. But that's where he spent his time, in the prison.
Okay, Steve is correct. So he was put in prison. However, he was pardoned by President Andrew Johnson and released from prison in 1869.
Yeah, that was a big controversy.
And his family members tried to have it expunged, but his conviction was never overturned. So he was arrested and put in prison, but then, for whatever reason, Andrew Johnson
was a Southern sympathizer. He did not.
Okay.
He didn't. He was against a whole lot of stuff that Lincoln was doing.
Okay. So yes, Steve, you are correct.
I was going to say, I knew that figured in there some way where he eventually got out, but then his name was still Mud, and that's where that saying came
from. I've heard that saying,
I know a lot of people named Mud.
I do too. I know Roger Mudd. I haven't met him, but I know who he is. Do you know who Roger Mudd is or was?
Wasn't he a correspondent?
You know where he
for
was?
CBS News.
Yeah.
He was the great-great-grandson of Dr. Mudd. Great-great-grandson.
He was held at Fort Jefferson, that's a lot to say, in the Dry Tortugas.
That's the one.
West of Key West, Florida.
That's what I said. The island.
Yeah, that little island thing.
I wonder how many times they got like Mud is your name.
I've heard that a lot. I actually
Your name
grew
is
up hearing
Mud.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do when he got out?
And Roger Mudd is related to the wife of a former police officer and former police chief at Carolina Beach and Cary Beach. They're like distant cousins or something.
And Clifford, I wanted to tell you something on the farm news.
Yes.
We'll call it. I've tried something this year that I ain't done before, and seeing if I have any success with it so far as working is I single stem my tomato plants. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And so I can put them closer together, and it grows a little bit bigger tomato when you don't let them branch out like that.
Yeah.
But you don't get quite as many tomatoes. So what I've been doing is the little offshoots, the little suckers, I call them.
Right.
As I cut them off, I've been taking and poking my finger in the ground and sticking them in the ground right beside the plant I cut them from.
Okay, so you're going
to
right beside them.
I got like four that have right within about 6 inches.
Okay, good.
Just poking my finger in the ground and
that's a great idea.
In the ground. Well, they're taking root and they're growing. I've already got some of them that are coming out and growing from that. I didn't use no rooting powder or anything, just literally sticking my finger in the ground and putting it in the ground and it's growing.
I like that. So that's a great idea.
If it succeeds, I'm going to feel like a real gardener at that point.
You are a progressive and a cheapskate is what you are.
Yeah, well,
just like I am.
They tend to top out when you single vine them like that. You know, it's kind of early. And so I was like, man, it sure would be nice to start some new plants down here underneath these.
Yep.
You know, to come up behind them when they get too big. And it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, well, shoot, let's try it. And I did. And so far, so good. They're holding on.
Well, let's stay in touch. I want to know how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go out there and see what I got.
A perpetual at least to the frost then.
Yeah. Well, I had tomatoes one year doing something not that. I had some that came up volunteer from in the garden where I threw the tomatoes out, and I had plants coming up, and I said,
you threw seeds into the ground.
So I picked it.
Try that.
I picked it up. I dug up several of them, 3 of them, I think, when I was in Wilmington, and I built a little coal station, some 8x8 blocks of wood that were cut off for stilts that they built houses with that I was given. And I had 2 sliding glass doors, and I put one on top and one in the front. And that was on the south side of the house up against a brick wall. Ooh, I had fresh tomatoes on New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
I picked them and had them that day.
Green peppers have a way of growing all year.
Yeah, they can.
I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
I'm done
with
you.
I like that.
Say in the southern climate, peppers don't die.
Right.
They live for years and years and years.
Yeah. All right. Well, sounds good, Steve. Good news.
Oh, all righty. I was at the Burrow last night. Got rain ran me off. I got set up and played 2 songs and had to break it down and move it. And then I set up again underneath the little awning there and played 2 songs and had to break it down and move it to about a bridge.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
What, your first song was Rainy Days in Georgia, right? You didn't sing Here Comes the Rain, did you?
But yeah, it was kind of a damp night, but all in all, it turned out okay, I guess.
Good.
All things considering.
All right, well, good. Steve-O, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome, guys. Y'all have
Hope you have a
All
great
right,
one.
you too.
You got the news about Earl Jones, right?
Steve.
Steve?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. Just let you know.
That was sad. Very
It is.
sad to hear.
It is.
I called on to it yesterday when you were talking about
Oh,
it.
very good.
Oh,
So,
All
okay.
right, very good. Thank you,
yeah,
Steve.
I took music lessons there, so I'm
Oh,
kind of
wow.
sad about
I
that.
just saw a terrible
Yeah.
story.
A whole lot of people
wow.
did. All right.
Well, I've got one too after yours.
A United
Yeah.
States general, he's a 4-star Marine general, Michael Langley, and he leads currently the U.S. Africa Command. He made a statement yesterday
Oh, I saw that.
that
God.
terror Africa are ramping up their ability to be able to conduct attacks in the U.S., and that's scary.
That's all we need. We need the southern
He said,
attack and the eastern attack. Oh, God.
He's named several terror groups that have expanded drastically. Al Qaeda's one of them. He says is whatever Al Qaeda grouping he named it is 3 times the size it was in 2022, because the U.S. pulled out of certain areas in Africa. I bet a lot of people didn't know we had people over there. Then he named another group. I can't even pronounce this. It's
try.
4 times the size it was in 2022.
Wow.
And then there's another one. But yeah, so this is scary.
We're not keeping our eye on the ball.
No, we're not.
I know that we're looking at it because I know the people that are looking at it, but we can't convince the people. They can't convince the people up top. We in America, we're going to be left holding the bag again because it's
Right.
going to happen.
And he's a 4-star general. This
Yeah.
guy's smart. Like, I know who he is. I mean, they need to take him seriously. He's not one to issue
Yep.
nonsense.
Yep.
So I hope somebody's listening up at the Pentagon. Hope so. That's scary.
Well, I've got something for you
Let's
right
hear it.
here. It's the end of an era. After 233 years, the U.S. Mint will stop making pennies.
Yes.
I did.
Now,
I heard
this
that.
whole thing does
Read
not
that.
make sense to me.
And there's no sense in it at all.
Oh, my Lord.
The most nonsensical thing I've ever seen.
That was just for you, Kelly.
I just want to know how's that going to work out with sales tax and stuff.
Yeah, really. Everybody's going to have, if this happens, which
Are you going to round up
To
or
a
round
nickel?
down?
Are they going to do a 2-cent piece?
well, they're going to, like taxes on your purchases are going to have to be like,
Rounded
rounded up.
up.
Mhm.
Everybody's going to have to change all their tax codes, everything.
So instead of something that cost
Mhm.
97 cents, instead of paying $1 and whatever number of cents that would be,
$7, whatever.
that would
Yeah. Dollar nickel
Five-
now.
yeah, it's going to round it up to $1. And I'm getting screwed either way, right? Again. Thank you.
Who decided this? I mean, what is their reasoning? I'm
They say
curious.
it's
The pennies
costing them
cost too
3
much money.
times as much to make the pennies as what they're worth.
Why don't you just recirculate the pennies we already have in?
They
System.
do.
They said that
But
This
people
is
are
not
hoarding
enough?
them. And there are more people. There are 300 million people, 325 million people in this
Mhm.
country now, up from, well, good God, when I was growing up, it was 150 million. So we've doubled in size. We have not increased drastically the amount that we're minting in pennies.
right, and they said right now that
Okay.
the average household has between $60 and $90 in pennies at home, and that they say it's just not worth it to redeem the pennies. They throw them away. Throw them away.
Who throws their penny?
Throw them to
I don't
me.
carry
I'll
cash.
take 'em.
I have a
I-
pickle jar full of pennies
will
if
take
anybody
care
wants
of
to come
them.
help roll them.
You can take them to Food Line.
Yeah, I know
they'll roll 'em for
you. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, as long as you buy
Or
stuff
take
at
them
Food
to
Line.
my bank, Marine Federal. At least you get what they're worth there.
Mhm.
Food Line, you won't.
But you got to look through them first because you never know.
I-
Might
For
find
what?
some old pennies.
What year should I look for, Rayford?
Well, I'd look for anything pre-1961, pre-1959. Those would be the wheat penny years. And if you find some of the wheat pennies, you might want to just take a little book and just look at the values of them.
How much is a wheat penny worth?
Well, it depends upon which year it is and which mint it was produced in. San Francisco was always a popular collector's item.
Oh, wheat pennies, including common dates, excuse me, are worth more than their face value. Even those in poor condition are worth at least 3 or 4 cents, and some can be worth 6 figures to coin collectors.
Yes, right.
For example,
1909 SVDB.
the still 1944 wheat penny may be worth between 85,000 and 110.
Really?
I'm spending my week
I've got,
going
I've
through my
got some of those
pennies.
up there in my collection.
Well, they'll
When I
pay
used to
for your
collect
new
pennies.
roof. Rayford will pay for
I
the
haven't
roof.
checked the values of some of those things right now.
For example, the steel 1944 wheat penny may be worth between 85,000
the
and
1944,
110,000.
the 1943s for common steel pennies. I don't.
1944 wheat.
1944. I don't remember. Maybe that's why it's so
CJ, I'm
valuable.
coming to see you.
There you go.
I have to go see CJ Coins.
Got some information
19. Oh, go ahead.
that bad crooks need to consider.
Uh,
You dummies. And
Write
that
this
our
down.
judicial and prison systems also need to move to the top of their study guides. The North Carolina General Statute states that, this is a verbatim, any person or persons who, having in possession or with the use of or threatened use of any firearms or other dangerous weapon, implement, or means whereby the life of a person is endangered or threatened, unlawfully takes or attempts to take personal property from another or from any place of business, residence, or banking institution, or any other place where there is a person or persons in attendance at any time, either day or night, or who aids or abets any such person or persons in the commission of such a crime, shall be guilty of a Class D felony. Let's move forward. I've always wanted to try to understand the thinking process of bad guys, criminals. Let's take, for example, 54-year-old Mark Etheridge Joyner.
Okay.
He was most recently arrested in Greenville, North Carolina for several armed holdups, including a Burger King, a Murphy gas outlet, and a Taco Bell. Police reports
Taco
indicate
Bell.
he got about $2,000 from the Burger King, $200 from a man at the gas station, and $200 from the Taco Bell, $2,400.
Mhm.
Did you understand that each one of those offenses is a separate crime? And
Correct.
it is a Class D felony called armed robbery or robbery with a dangerous weapon.
Right.
Okay. Class D felonies like robbery with a dangerous weapon carry a maximum penalty of 204 months in prison. This means the offender could get 17 years behind bars for each offense.
Mhm.
In addition to prison time, penalties can include probation, community service, fines, restitution, and the loss of certain rights like the right to vote or own a firearm. Well, first of all, great system we have. Can't have a gun if he's convicted. Smart move. Problem is, he couldn't have a gun legally anyway before he was accused of the latest armed robberies. He had a gun. In North Carolina, this is the one that gets me. Now, he's a loser. We got that, right?
Mhm.
He'd been a convicted felon. He robs 3 places. What does he rob? He robs a gas station and 2 fast food restaurants with a gun. He gets a grand total of $2,400. In the state, Mr. Joyner's conviction record dates back to 1988. He's 54 now. Shoplifting and assault on a law enforcement officer. From there, his convictions include felony possession of drugs, possession of stolen goods, assault on a cop, and first-degree murder. Over the years, that was just in 1994. Over the years, he was convicted for numerous counts of possession with intent to sell dope, numerous common law robberies, meaning he did not use a gun or a weapon, assault on a woman, assault on lawmen. The list gets longer. Finally, after serving mostly minimal sentences, Joyner was convicted of being an habitual offender and spent 17 years in prison, locked away from society. He was paroled from prison in March last year. Within short order, he screwed up and his parole was revoked. Back to the big house until November of last year. Then he was released back on the streets until he was arrested this week for 3 armed robberies that netted him $2,400.
Right.
Here are my takeaway points, y'all. Joyner was locked up for 17 years, but only finally, he was locked up after finally being tried as an habitual offender, even though he had committed multiple of felonies tons of crimes against a lot of people over many years. Here's another takeaway. Prison is not a place that rehabilitates really bad people. Out of prison after serving 17 straight years, only for a matter of months, and Joyner is locked up for 3 counts of armed robbery. Not only is he a bad guy, he's a stupid bad guy. Anti-gun laws only hurt law-abiding citizens. Bad people don't obey any laws, including gun laws. Though Joyner's prison record indicates first-degree murder, there's something wrong. I cannot find any conviction details about that crime. Prison records apparently are not very complete. Here's a recommendation. The North Carolina Attorney General should form a special team to look into every case of offenders that commit multiple offenses, felons, and should try those people in a separate court at the state level, seeking as much as life without parole for offenders committing violent offenses. I would include the possession with the intent to sell drugs as a circumstance to use to seek life without parole. People die in this state every day, 110,000 last year, a year before last, from illegal drug overdoses, drugs they purchase from drug dealers. Mm. Those cases should be easy to prosecute, mostly doing the paperwork, because guess what? Much of the work has been done by the other courts, the county courts everywhere. And all those records are available at the Department of Corrections. You don't have to do very much. Just take the information that's already there and take it before a judge and say, we want to try him as an habitual offender, Your Honor, and put him away forever. All habitual offenders should be housed in one or more special maximum security prison units. After all, they should be considered to be the ones with the least to lose by trying to escape. Why would you put somebody that's been convicted of multiple felonies, why would you put them in a prison as a minimum security unit? I don't care how good you think they are. Attempts to escape should be rewarded with the remainder of their sentences to be served in solitary confinement. Rehabilitation for an habitual offender is not an option. They've already proven they don't deserve that consideration. Why would we even think about being nice to them? Because they're nice people? No.
No.
They're con artists. 7 months out of prison, arrested for 3 armed robberies in a week. Give me a break. Got a gun from somewhere. Mm-hmm. Give me a break. I don't know why they haven't charged him with that offense yet. Possession of a gun by a convicted felon. That itself should carry a lot more time.
You would think.
He's been in prison 17 years of his 54 years on earth. That's a third about, plus some time that he'd already spent in prison. But 17 years he spent just for being an habitual offender.
Unreal.
Well, our judicial system needs to be overhauled. The prison system needs to be thrown out the window and start from scratch.
There's a lot of things that need reform. A lot.
Yeah.
Like the weaponization against that we've seen happen so much. Mm-hmm. It's
if y'all are from New Mexico, you're probably safe out there from sharks. But if you're visiting if you're visiting North Carolina,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to Sunset Beach like one 26-year-old young man did from New Mexico, mm-hmm. You can rest assured there are sharks along the entire eastern seaboard.
Correct.
Everywhere there are sharks.
Who would not know that? Well, obviously somebody from New Mexico. What did he do?
Well, he was out there. Mm-hmm. He caught a wave out in the ocean.
Okay.
And rode it into deep water.
That sounds like
standing there and whap, got you.
Mm.
Oh, me.
In the leg.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. That's the one he got like 12 stitches or
11
something.
Stitches, 11 stitches, I think. 26-year-old Sean Barton, mm-hmm. just swimming around, and then as he stepped down, something bit him with one of his legs. The wound obviously caused by some kind of a sea creature, with the most likely culprit is going to be a shark. Doctors at the emergency room thought it looked like a shark bite. I'm not sure how many shark bites they've ever seen, but they said it looked like a shark bite. I do know there are websites out there that doctors have.
Yeah.
They can look at them and say, yeah, that's the same kind of bite this guy had. And,
Something got him.
it belongs to this type of shark, and they can do that. Took 11 stitches to close Barton's wound. The attack happened in the surf. He rode the wave in. Family members saw a shark swimming in the surf shortly after that midday encounter. All sorts of advices out there for all of you folks who'd like to go to the beach and go swimming. Swimming in the late evening is not recommended. Y'all seen Jaws?
Yeah.
They get you.
Jaws ruined me.
They're surfing. They're feeding right near the surf.
Right.
Did not apply in this case because it was 11 o'clock in the morning. Couple things. If you are near a swimming pier, keep in mind a couple things. Fishermen are using all sorts of methods to lure fish. That includes bait.
Yeah.
Predators. If you see seagulls feeding on schools of fish, when they're close to shore, there will be sharks, along with the Spanish mackerel and the king mackerel and everything else that eats that bait.
Right.
There will be sharks there waiting to eat the king mackerel and the Spanish mackerel that eat the small fish.
Oh,
That's the food chain, they call it.
exactly. Well,
Don't get in the water when you see a bait ball out there. A bait ball it looks like a big shadow in the water,
Yeah.
and it's moving around. If it's moving around,
That's moving
don't
from
do that.
something.
If you see a school of fish that's taking off, man, something's chasing it. But the ocean is the shark's home.
It is.
Not our home.
Yeah, we're
the shark's
intruders.
home.
Rip currents, we know, are dangerous for swimmers. They also make great places for sharks to congregate because that's where the fish like to hang out.
I didn't know that.
That is a clue, y'all.
that.
Fish bring sharks.
Well, I did know that part. I saw Shark Attack. I just pulled it up, and sure enough, it's still on here. August 10th, 1980, Ocean Isle Beach.
Uh-huh.
I was 11 years old.
Uh-huh.
I was in the water. This girl named Susan Waters has got the whole information.
Your last
right
time
here
in the water.
Mm-hmm.
for years. She was 10 years old. She was from Greensboro. She was I was farther out of the water than she was. I will never, ever forget this day. She was standing in the water with her brother. And it says right here, injury, bitten behind. She lost her leg, bitten behind knee and lower leg, took her lower leg off from the knee down. She was in water like
That's all
to
it is.
here. I was in chest deep water. Because we had my little float and we're all out there. I saw the whole entire thing. Froze for a second when I realized because
And then you walked on water to get to shore.
I was like, how am I going? I panicked, which I will freely admit I did.
Mm-hmm.
Horrifically screaming. Everybody else is trying to pull her out of the water, and now all I could think of was, where did the shark go? Because there's blood everywhere. I mean, it was bad.
He's chewing his food.
Got back in, and for years, let's see, that was 1980. And I'm being dead serious about this. I think it was 4 or 5, maybe 6 years before I ever got back in the water, because we went every summer.
Did you see the shark?
I saw the attack.
Okay.
I saw one little fin.
You
Couldn't
don't
tell
know
you
how big it was.
No, it's even saying on here, even the shark
Well,
species was unknown. It's right
If
here,
you've
it's the whole
watched
thing
the video of Kelly running out of the
I'll tell you
water,
what, I walked
the
on water,
person in front of her was me.
because I tell you what, that was traumatic. I will
Yes,
have to
I
say it
imagine
was very
so.
traumatic.
Jaws
Yeah.
ruined the ocean for me.
Jaws
I'm
did, and I
sorry.
remember. And I remember yelling at my parents. Why am I yelling at my parents? They didn't make me go on the water. I'm like, we watched Jaws, and this is why we don't go in the water. And you made me go in anyway. My dad's looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like,
I made
I was hysterical.
I made the Greater Wilmington Chamber of Commerce and the Wrightsville Beach Chamber of Commerce mad, really mad. 2 things I did on 2 different holidays. One was the guy shooting video at the beach, right? For TV. I was shooting at the beach for TV and doing the story with all the crowds there and everybody at the beach and everybody swimming and doing this stuff. And a guy out there fishing, and he brings in a fish head, cleaned off really clean right behind the head.
Nope.
That's the typical,
Nope.
that's the
That's
standard,
how you know.
that's a shark attack. Okay. And I showed the video of that. That made him mad. Another occasion was I was at Wrightsville Beach, and the people were out there swimming, probably 40 yards, maybe 40 yards offshore, off the beach. And between the land where I was and them where they was a shark fin comes up because I'm shooting them out there swimming, and a shark fin comes up. Looks like it was a movie on cue.
Yep.
On between
Dun, dun.
me and them, it's on camera,
Dun, dun,
and I'm like, really,
dun, 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 dun,
really,
dun.
and of course that made they made the Chamber of Commerce people mad again.
Well,
They're gonna ruin the business here.
for two women here that are scared of sharks and on the water,
Scared.
we sure love our Sharknado movies, don't we?
Oh, I love them. Sharknado, yes. Rayford, don't you say a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say anything about me and Lee liking Sharknado because of
That's
those
right.
crazy jokes you send us.
Yeah. The first time I
Yeah.
ever watched
We need to
one,
have a
I
marathon
thought,
with Rayford so he can see what Sharknado is
oh,
about.
you've got it.
Why don't you?
Rayford-
I will sit there and watch all the shark stuff you want to watch. If you will get in the water and go diving with me, and I'll show you some
No, I
sharks
ain't doing that.
up close and personal.
Nope. Not,
You're on
that's
your
not
own.
gonna
And they
happen.
don't bother divers.
No.
They're on your. Oh, it's,
I'm claustrophobic. It's not gonna
All right,
happen.
let me. Has a shark
Oh, they will, but not very
Ever
often. Most of the shark
attacked
attacks are on people at the surface or in
diver?
really
Mhm.
shallow water.
Look, in Jaws 3 3D, it attacked people inside SeaWorld. So,
Yeah.
No, yeah. Did you ever
it
see
broke
that one?
through the glass.
It did. It went right through it. Like, nope. So, no.
Broke through the
Oh,
glass.
that was a documentary, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, sharks
just
do
saying.
attack divers, whether provoked or unprovoked.
It
However,
does.
attacks are extremely rare.
Well, I don't care.
Well,
would
all I
either
need to
one.
know is that they've done it. They've done it. I'll be on top.
Did you see the video from Monday from Rhode Island? That shark in the pond up there. They caught the
20
pond. It's like
footer,
in a-
wasn't
yeah.
it 20 footer?
It's huge. I watched the video of it because it freaked
in
me
a
out.
pond.
Yeah,
It's not really pond. They call it. It's what we would call intercoastal waterway.
Yeah.
But they call it the pond.
When
Yeah.
Sharknado, they walk into your house.
Well, that's true. And they fly through the air. But this video, I mean, you can tell how big this
Yeah.
beast is just from that's a still picture of it. I watched the video. Like boaters were filming it. Oh no, that thing is like 1,000,000 feet long. I would have. Oh, here it is, right here. The video, actual video. And he goes under, and he comes back, and
Oh,
they're just chilling out, hanging.
It looks to be about a 12, 14 footer.
Yeah, it looks scary and deadly.
That's a decent shark.
He's deadly, and it was Rhode Island,
Uh-huh.
and
yeah, that's the
people
one
were in a
off of Rhode
restaurant. They're
Island.
just filming it along. They nope. Nope. Get out of that. But they call it a pond, but will be what we would call coastal. Yeah,
Let's go ahead and take a look at the ocean right now, won't you?
Yes, let's do that.
do it.
Do-do.
Dun-dun,
Mhm.
Do-do.
dun-dun.
The marine forecast still a bit sloppy out there, but the
Mhm.
sharks are still there. Seas, calm seas are coming later in the weekend. Offshore today, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20, gust to 25 this afternoon. 3 to 5 foot waves every 5 seconds. Sounds in rivers a moderate chop, becoming really choppy in the afternoon. A chance of showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms today. Tomorrow, westerly winds 15 to 20, gusts up to 30 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet. They'll come down in the afternoon, 3 to 4. Sounds in rivers choppy. Now, if they do, the weather forecast stays like the forecast calling for right now, Sunday will be your day.
Mhm.
Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming southwesterly 5 to 10 in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet. Not bad. Sounds in rivers, a moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon. That's what they're calling for today for 48 hours from now, right? Tomorrow, check it in the afternoon. If you're
Right.
planning to do something on Sunday, check the forecast tomorrow afternoon. It'll be more up to date.
All right, today I was looking outside. It's still kind of cloudy, but it says we should be at some point partly sunny, high of 84, with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly between noon and 3. Tonight, it does. If with 70% chance, we are going to have showers and thunderstorms. It seems with a low of 59, with 17-mile-an-hour gusts tonight. Tomorrow, sunny. Yay for sun, and the high of 82. 22-mile-an-hour gust, but none of us care because it's going to be sunny and warm. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 57. And then on Sunday, sunny, high of 83.
And I will tell you right now that the beaches along Carteret, Onslow, and Pender right now have high risk of rip
There will
current
be rip currents,
warnings
yes.
through this weekend. So be careful out there.
I did see that.
It's with all the mess that we've got going
Get a
on.
pool.
Okay, I got a question for you, Ray.
Shoot.
All of y'all, and this is to our listeners as well. And this is me taking like a poll question, I guess. Okay, so as everyone may or may not know, Harvard and our government, really Trump, are locked in a battle, right?
Yep.
So Harvard has filed, there's a lawsuit, okay? So the question has become, and I want you guys' opinion. If anybody else has an opinion, you can call in and give it as well. Do you think, so 4 of our Supreme Court justices attended Harvard. One was even the dean of law. Okay, that's, So do you think they should recuse themselves from the dispute over the foreign student visas? Because, Harvard was told you can't, we're not letting them in. So Harvard filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security. And they think this could end up being a Supreme Court case. Well, 4 justices attended.
You think the 4 justices would be leaning towards Harvard regardless?
Well, that's what legal people are saying.
What do you think the I don't know, let's just say the average Bachelor of Science holder from North Carolina State University, what do you think that person would say about this whole mess at Harvard?
Well, let me say this. So Justices Neil Gorsuch and Elena Kagan, they went to Harvard School of Law, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Justice John Roberts and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson attended Harvard undergraduate and their law degree, okay? Kagan was the dean of Harvard School of Law. But they're saying, some legal scholar says, look, it don't matter if they went there or not. But he said, however, this guy did say, Ketanji Brown Jackson has the deepest ties to Harvard. Mm-hmm. They're saying that she served a 6-year term on the Board of Overseers. I don't know what that is. And that her daughter is currently a student there. So they're saying she has what they're calling the, quote, deepest ties to Harvard.
How would that affect the decision about what Homeland Security wants to do?
They're saying that she could not be, she would be biased
towards Harvard.
Against, towards Harvard. Like she would be pro Harvard.
Yes. But I mean, again,
how you can't prove that.
How would whatever their feelings toward Harvard, how would that apply to, I don't know. Let's just say, do you think that they would favor allowing Charles Manson's grandson to attend Harvard? Do you think they would jump on that one and have any feelings about that? How about would they allow somebody who was a member of Al Qaeda in the past? Do you think they would have a problem with forcing him to attend Harvard if he wants to, forcing Harvard to accept him?
And here's what's even makes the plot thicken a little bit. In 2023, there was some kind of case called Students for Fair Admissions versus President and Fellows of Harvard College. It was some kind of affirmative action case. Justice Jackson actually recused herself. And she's like, but the other 3 did not recuse themselves.
I could see her, but I can't see them.
I would think, this is a Kelly Hope, I would think that anybody on the Supreme Court, regardless of where they went to Harvard, where they went to the moon, where they went forever, would have the ability to still be fair and, in their thinking and not just because they went to Harvard automatically lean towards Harvard. That's just would be my hope.
And maybe they agree and don't think that, these guys should be going to Harvard. What's Homeland Security's reason? Because they it has to do with those foreign visas and the terrorism and the anti-Semitic and the pro-Hamas affiliations. I'm not saying it right, but that's what they're trying to keep out, apparently, from what I understand. Well, they're just doing wholesale everybody, or they're
wholesaling them all.
Or bring it down to certain people.
And this morning, while I was getting ready to come here this morning, I heard on the news that now they're going after China because China is putting into the universities actual spies that have been found to be spies.
Yeah.
So now they're adding them to the list. I don't have a problem with that one because I know for a fact we've seen numerous cases where they've been in there.
Here's where I've got a problem with foreign students in general.
Mhm.
North Carolina State, UNC, Chapel Hill, UNC Wilmington, they got a limited number of possibilities, freshman openings every
I know
year.
what
Right?
you're saying.
They have a
Yes.
limited
I agree
number.
with you. Yeah.
Okay. In my personal opinion,
They should go to our citizens.
the first group of people that should get that will be residents of North Carolina.
I agree with that.
Citizens.
Mhm.
Okay. The second group would be anybody else. If we fill it up
Mhm.
and we got room for more. I'm talking about with grade
Correct.
and
Yeah.
meeting certain qualifications.
Mhm.
If you got room for more, then you go to elsewhere in the United States of America
I hear you.
and probably include its possessions.
Yeah. Yes.
'Cause they
That
belong
makes
to
sense.
us.
Agreed.
I go to them.
Then open it up
And
to.
then if you got more, then
you
I
got
would
left.
open it up. But here's the other problem I have.
Okay.
If we got people from China
Yeah.
attending North Carolina State University, which is a great engineering school,
It is very, very good engineering school.
what are we teaching them to do?
I agree. I agree with you, Rayford. You are not wrong. I agree.
I hate to have so much common sense about me.
And
And it
you
just
know,
goes against some people's grain.
but just think of somebody from another country, China or wherever, going like to MIT, where they're doing like the
Same
nuclear
thing.
physics program or
Yes.
whatever. It is scary to think they're going and getting an education and going to turn around and use it against us. Look at the 9/11 pilots came here to a flight school, learned how to fly planes that they used against us. It's similar.
I wonder how many, and we do know, I don't know how many, but we do know that a large number of Japanese individuals
Mhm.
attended universities in this country prior to World War II
Mhm.
and were engaged in combat in World War II or in development of other processes in
Mhm.
World War II. I can understand and appreciate the dilemma of people
Mhm.
because when those people, when Tehran was holding our people hostage,
Mhm.
there was a whole lot of anti-sentiment, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah, I
it was
remember
pretty
that.
well
Yeah.
across the board. We did not like Iranians.
We didn't. Yeah.
Iranians around here were looked at like, we can kick your butt.
Yeah.
And I was at one of the dealerships. Car dealership had our old junker,
Mhm.
and people were going up, and they would pay $1 to take a 10-pound hammer and hit it 10 times, hit that car, because it had things that were painted on it.
Mhm.
Anti-Iranian.
Like Ayatollah.
The
or-
Ayatollah
Yeah.
was the key.
Huh.
Nobody
what
was
happened.
opposed to it.
Right.
Today, there'd be a bunch of the Looney Tunes.
Oh, they'd be
would
out there
okay.
protesting
But
it.
I can
Yeah.
I can understand why we, during the beginning stages of World War II, we suddenly said, we don't know who our enemies are within this
True.
country.
I
We
agree
didn't
with
know
that.
who on 9/11 our enemies in this country were, did we? We got all hyper about that at that time, didn't we? Should we have?
Mhm.
Absolutely. Until you can prove otherwise. Rounding them up, putting them in a camp and World War II, that was the only thing, our only option apparently at the time. We were not that well versed. This was a sneak attack. It caught us all by surprise. We were not prepared for this. We should have been, but we were not in World War II. So we reacted.
Yeah.
Maybe overreacted.
Well,
But I can understand it.
I mean,
If you were there at that time, if I was there at that time, I could have understood doing that.
I understand.
Blasting them
I
today for
do-
doing it? No, not a good thing.
I kind of do see why the government is doing. I mean, I understand the thought process behind it. Maybe the way they're doing it may not be I don't even know what the right answer would be, but I get why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just don't know this Harvard thing. And I think if the government wins the lawsuit against Harvard, they're going to go after other schools. I do think that.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. Harvard's like a
and,
test case.
But
So-
that's not what the courts should be looking at. You cannot legislate about the future in a situation like this.
I agree. And I think it's some of this stuff is starting to set a very dangerous precedent.
Mhm.
And I think we need to be very careful about how much, whatever the court system is having in things, because too much power is not a good thing, or you know what I mean? Like at some point, somebody's going to change a rule that you don't like.
That's right.
I think that's something.
Another
as
administration
citizens-
will come into power at
Yeah.
some point in time, and just like this one did, it undid a bunch of stuff that
So
happened in the
it's
previous
just-
4 years.
There's like a lot.
So, that's what I say. 4 years is just, all of it, whatever Trump's done, whatever he's doing can be changed at what year is it? Will it be 2028, 2029 is when he turns the new president.
Who
that what it would-
are you waging already? Just off the top of your head right now.
He hasn't been born yet.
Oh Lord, my grandson.
I'm saying JD Vance.
Real quick, I got one because I have been wanting to do this for like 3 days now. Y'all know I'm obsessed with that show Common Knowledge, and mainly because it is mind-boggling to me because you got two teams of two. How many people cannot answer these questions? Like, and I'll be yelling at the TV, and Mom will be like, they can't hear you. But I don't know all the answers, but I know a whole lot of them. Okay. Rayford, so I pulled this up. A survey was done, and they found that less than half of the Americans can name the 3 branches of government. And that actually came up in Common Knowledge, which is scary.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
More than half believe the First Amendment compels social media platforms to allow their users to express themselves freely, and it does not. But then it gets to things like, why did the colonists fight the British? 76% of the Americans surveyed did not know why we fought the British for the War of Independence. That is scary to me. And then
Because we did not want to be under the rule was the
Correct.
overall thing.
Yes.
But the taxation without representation was a big key phrase.
thing. They couldn't answer any of that. They didn't know.
These colonies that we had at the time are just like a lot of the colonies or the places that we own right now, control right now. They can't vote in a lot of elections.
Right.
Okay, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was with us at the time. So we decided, well, we'll rebel. We'll form our own government.
24% surveyed could not answer what made Benjamin Franklin famous. They thought he invented the light bulb. Lord have mercy.
No, really.
I can't escape.
There are several things that
our
made him
future.
famous.
Yeah.
One,
Lee should know what he is most famous for. First U.S. Postmaster General. First
Yeah.
U.S. Ambassador to France.
first guy to raise the price of postage.
Stop.
And he was one, he helped write the Declaration of Independence.
Uh-huh.
Talking about he invented the light bulb. Oh my God, that's
You know
scary.
where that came from, right? Because he flew a kite out time,
Yeah, but
tied a key to that.
Thomas Edison invented the light bulb.
No. But Benjamin Franklin flew a kite.
I think he was drunk when he did that.
Of course he was. Because
But
and lightning struck the key.
okay.
Well, first of all, that's likely not true. You understand that,
I agree
right?
because wouldn't he have been struck or?
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
Typically it has to be.
I don't
some
want to
kind of-
test that key theory out.
Stick it up there stick a key up 500 feet
I'm
in
not
the
doing
air.
it. You go ahead and you let me know how that works
Stick
out
it up
for
there
you.
500 feet in the air,
Uh-huh.
and do not have it attached to a metal rod that's attached to the ground.
I'm not.
And what are the likelihood that a key is going to get stuck?
I'm not going to do that. But okay, here's one I did
Well,
not
that's
know.
It's rubber, which is not. But go ahead.
Rayford Lee, I don't know. You'll know because I didn't know it, but Rayford may not. And this is one of the questions people were asked.
Mm-hmm.
They say, why is Chicago nicknamed the Windy City? Because it was not what
Got
I
a
thought it
bunch
was.
of blowhard Democrats
I
up there.
thought it was because of all the lakes and stuff.
That's what I thought, and it's not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, God.
That's what I thought too. So I would have failed that one on that thing.
I
So
failed.
it's because they think it came in the late 1800s where politicians had long-winded speeches. See,
Yeah.
I knew Rayford would know that.
Yeah.
Who discovered America? Well, we know
Well, who gets the credit for it?
they think it was Norse, which
There's
we
still
know
that
that's
argument
Vikings.
over.
The Vikings.
Yeah,
did.
they say that they have evidence that they were here
Yeah, they
first,
were
which
here
we
first.
already knew, but we're going to give old Christopher Columbus a credit. That's fine, whatever. Now, what I cannot believe, I guess I can, that when they polled these Americans, most of them did not know what war Eisenhower was a general in. Some of them named the Vietnam and the Civil War. And these people are in our midst. It's just so
I wish
like,
I could remember that Jesse Waters show. It was just a couple nights
Really?
ago, and they were
I'm
out
dead
there.
serious. I'm reading it right
Really?
here.
I wish I could remember the questions. They were simple questions.
It's this kind of thing.
So I
They
gotta tell
honest to God
Kelly.
thought that in a survey, 1 in 5 Americans stated that he led in Vietnam and the Civil War. Rayford, yeah. So
Well, it's somewhere in between those.
yeah. I just can't. I can't. And this one I knew, but I had forgotten. Who was one of the 3 authors of the Federalist Papers? And I did know this, but I had forgotten. I knew. Do you know who they were? It's 3 of them.
Go ahead.
Alexander Hamilton, which I did
Yes.
know. John Jay, which I always forget that guy. I don't
do
know
too.
why. And poor old James Madison.
Yeah, I know.
But John Jay,
I knew Madison.
I just never remember that guy's name.
He's so easy to remember, but he's so easy to forget.
And this question
I
is
mean, that's
actually
what else has he
on-
ever done?
And this is on a citizenship test, and it's deemed one of the hardest questions on the test. Nobody can remember poor John Jay. Did he do anything after that? I know. And I think this is
He just stopped in from the pub for a minute and
okay. This is going to be your favorite one, I think. In a survey, most Americans could not name any one of the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment.
not any of them.
They couldn't name any of them. You know what the 5 are? Speech, religion, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government.
Yep.
They could name that. I mean, civics is still a required class to graduate.
Now,
what is being taught?
if you guys have watched the John Legato show, the podcast,
Oh, don't get me started.
and
I watched
just
last
pick
night.
that up, something, go ahead and subscribe to it on
Yeah.
YouTube and start watching it, and then watch these guys. They call them auditors. He calls them frauditors.
Frauditors.
To go into public buildings.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're public buildings, but that doesn't mean they're open to anybody that wants to wander through and have a good time. Go to
We
the
used
police
to get 'em in
department
the
here.
post
The
office.
police department is a public building, but go ahead in there and try to wander through and see what
Yeah,
you
go
get.
ahead. Go ahead.
Now, you could wander through the jail and they'll let you stay there if you keep it up.
They'll let
Not
you
a
visit
problem.
a cell.
Yeah, for a while. 3 to 5.
That noise
But-
you hear behind you is the door closing.
Oh, that's an awful sound too for
I've
some
got-
people.
One last one.
Okay.
72% of Americans surveyed could not name the original 13 states.
Could not name any of them.
They could not name what the 13 were.
Could not name all of them.
Yeah, they could
Oh,
not
Jesus.
correctly name all 13. They were
That's
so
going to take a little bit of time.
the original 13 were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Delaware, Maryland, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Yep.
Mhm.
Those are the original 13. 72% of Americans
I-
could not name.
And I never could understand why New Hampshire was there and
Mhm.
Vermont was not.
I agree with that.
I knew it wasn't, but I just
Yeah.
never understood. Why'd you go way up there to become a state? Well, I guess that's what y'all did. Just good for you.
And Vermont was on that common knowledge last week. Like, believe it or not, that question about
Really?
Vermont was on there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so that show just has me scared. It really does. People don't know general things. I mean, Eisenhower, if you don't know anything else, that's a name everybody should know from World War. I just can't.
And his
Except your
nickname
younger
was
generation.
Vote for.
I just can't.
What?
His nickname was
Ike.
Yeah.
I was.
I didn't know what you were
like,
asking.
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring it back to home for a little
Do
bit.
it.
I got some good news for
Oh.
anybody that needs to renew your driver's license or get a real ID.
A
The
little late for this good
DMV,
news.
the DMV will be opening starting tomorrow on Saturdays through August 23rd from 8 to 12 noon.
What? You better get there early.
Walk-ins, They're walk-ins, so.
Okay, guys, go ahead. If the weather's going to be okay tonight, you might want to just take a
I
tent and
get
go
out
over
there
there.
at 6 a.m. Yeah,
This is
That's
down
gonna
there
be
at
a line.
299 South Wilmington Highway, the
Mhm.
one down there.
that's awesome.
B&B.
Where?
So
299 Wilmington
Okay.
Highway.
yeah, right there by the DOT place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know
Right,
where it is.
right. It didn't move. It's not at the place over here.
No, it's not on Country
that's
Club
for
Road.
your
That's
license
when
plate.
I
That's the place.
freaked out because I said, Kelly's not here, Rayford. Something's happened.
No,
I
I'm down
was-
at the triangle.
No, I
in my
know.
line.
I don't know
I-
why
I
I was
explained it to her.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
License
know.
plate.
I had it wrong.
Place is over here, and this is
Which
terrible
I'm
location.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of to get in and out,
Why
it
not
really
put
is.
everything in one building? But
Yeah.
then again,
But they're two separate entities. I
yeah,
think.
one's a.
Yeah.
One's private enterprise, a
Right.
contractor
What
thing.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but why
Contracted,
not
not
take
private.
it back over and put it all in one big building?
Well, that one on the driver's license place, that building's been there a
Is
million years.
older than
Part of the Highway
me.
Patrol.
Yeah.
Is
been there
older
ever
than
since
It
then.
me.
is.
Yeah,
That
it's
building
been
has
there.
not.
That's
You
where I
can
got my
smell the
license.
mold in there. Yeah. So
Here's something else I ran across that I thought that was really, really interesting. We have National Night Out every year.
Yep.
Mhm.
it's going to be in
And all
October
the-
this year.
All the.
Finally.
Mhm.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Je-
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
What?
Swansboro's having their own on September 19th.
That's awesome. See,
Well, I like I
National Night
said,
Out-
I can understand it.
Mhm.
well, I can't. It's
Um,
held normally the first Tuesday in
Right.
August, but it is so dang hot.
I'm
here.
so glad they changed it to October.
JPD
Well,
changed it.
look
October
at it this
19th.
way. Swansboro's kind of the central of not. It's on the
Carteret
border.
County.
It's on the
Yes.
border of Onslow
Yes.
County, but it is
Yeah.
on the border
Yes.
of Carteret County. It's the greater
Right.
chamber of Chamber of Commerce is in Swansboro.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
But they've got towns
wow.
like Emerald Isle. You've got Pine
Pine Knoll Shores,
Pine Knoll Shores. God,
Cape Carteret.
Cape Carteret. You got Pelletier. You
Yeah.
got all of these areas that you got Hubert.
Mhm.
All of those places there.
Yeah.
So why not have something there
Yeah.
too? Because that Swansboro's kind of like another little central hub.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree
going to
with
be at
that.
the Municipal Park
Mhm.
September 19th from 6 to 9.
So
but,
that'll give the folks in that neck of the woods an
Yeah.
opportunity, because I know we got law enforcement here. We got a lot of law
Mhm.
enforcement, but we don't have
well,
Emerald Isle
Swansboro's
PD.
becoming a whole little place of
Yeah,
its own.
it's a
know.
destination now. It's a
Yeah.
center.
And do you know, just recently, and I was watching their meeting the other night. I didn't finish it, but the commissioners for the town of Swansboro, not county, the commissioners for the town are right now in talks about possibility of putting in a public swimming pool for Swansboro.
Just cage off an area there in the Intercoastal Waterway. You'll be good.
Yeah, put some nets up. Yeah, why
Mhm.
not? But I found that interesting. They've become their own little entity now.
Yep.
But so they Mike, who had written a nice story about
be good. That'd be good. They
National Night
deserve
Out.
it. They deserve something like that.
Yeah.
You mentioned MIT. Massachusetts, as I've heard people say, Institute of Technology,
Mhm.
shutting down its diversity, equity, and inclusion
saw that.
office.
I
Mhm.
saw that too.
Comprehensive assessment that began about 18 months ago. This president, y'all, MIT President Sally Kornbluth, said the closing or sunsetting of the Institute Community and Equity Office. She announced it was last Thursday. It's going to happen. MIT is in the talent business, she said. Our success depends on attracting exceptionally talented people of every background from across the country and around the world, and making sure everyone at MIT feels welcome and supported so they can do their best work and thrive. We don't need none of that. What is it called? DEI. We don't need any of that stuff.
Mhm.
We got it going. We're way ahead of that game.
Mhm.
Good for
I
you.
agree.
Good for them.
Mhm.
Should have gone to MIT. Is it too late? Could I go now?
I have some family members that went there years and years
You,
ago.
you,
but,
you know what? It's never too late. Never too late.
It's
You
in
do
Massachusetts.
whatever
Is
you
the
want to
problem.
do.
you got to deal with that cold. I hate.
I want to
being
go to
out there.
Mass. I really do. I need to go.
I'll
And-
take you with me.
well, how soon are we going?
When do you want to go?
As soon as we can. I want to go to trial. I want to go to the courthouse
Oh, you want?
in Devon.
Yeah,
Canton.
that thing still hadn't wrapped up, has it?
No, the prosecution
For
rested
heaven's
yesterday.
So
Yeah,
Okay,
prosecution
National
rested.
Hurricane Centers.
Yes,
nothing on the
No.
no
charts.
X's. I was going to ask you about that.
Oh no, I've got it here popped up every day.
No X's.
No X's.
But what's this?
That in the Pacific though, the Eastern Pacific, there is Tropical Storm Alvin.
Where's
Maybe
Simon
it's-
and Theodore?
Hey,
Lee got it. Lee got
Oh,
that. See, you're rubbing off on me, Rayford.
That's terrible.
You're rubbing off
Of
on
all
me.
the good
Uh-huh.
things that I've got, you pick some of the really rotten
That's
stuff.
okay.
Who we got?
We
Joy.
have joy.
Yeah.
Joy to the world.
Oh, you just stole my
Please.
line. Joy to the world. Hello, Joy.
Joy.
Why are you ringing?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Joy can hear us.
Hello. Joy, Joy, Joy.
It was Alexa that dialed.
Joy.
Joy probably doesn't know.
Hello?
Can you
Hello?
hear us now?
Yeah, I didn't have you on speakerphone.
Oh, we can hear you.
Look,
Lord have mercy. Lord, Joy.
D&D, we left at 7:45 from Gumbrance, stopped and got a cup of Dunkin' Donut coffee, headed toward Wilmington. DMV is slam packed full
Yeah.
for your license.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is probably about
End of the month.
Oh, wow.
40 minutes ago. But, what is it, 8:51? We are now in Wilmington. That's how fast we got here.
What? Oh, they were all at the DMV office. They weren't on the highway.
Wow.
They're all over there, I guess, getting license. But I couldn't believe how quick we got here with the way the traffic usually is.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
But I guess Donald just says probably because everybody's got their driver's license. But it didn't take us but what? After leaving at 7:45 from Gum Branch, took us about hours to get here. But DMV is, I don't think there's any parking available at all at that location.
Wow, wow, wow.
I'm
Okay.
sure that's what we'll do.
Well,
Stop in.
y'all just wait. You go. Is it tomorrow morning the opening?
Yes, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock till
you
noon.
can go in. Walk-ins begin between 8 until noon tomorrow. On Saturdays now
Yeah.
until sometime in August.
Yeah. And we can still hear you real good here in Wilmington also. I was going to tell you
Good.
that also.
Okay, that's
Well,
good.
we're-
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Y'all have a good weekend.
You
I was just
too.
going to give you a thought. So what are you calling them flushes that aggravate them?
You're not
You're
aggravated.
not aggravating us. Well, you know we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you. I love you too.
You get,
He wants to know why you're not on the radio no more.
We're working on it.
we got
We're
a
working
plan.
on
We
it, Donald.
had 2 plans, and one of them has it's fallen by the wayside, but we still got one more.
Yep, we gotta. Yeah, we're working on it.
He kept,
All right.
and I've avoided this question, but he's with me, so I can't avoid it now. But anyways, it was a smooth sailing from Jacksonville to Wilmington this morning.
Very
Just took us an
good.
hour with a pit stop. So that
That's
was good.
that's
Yeah.
good. I go down there once a month, and my Lord of mercy, it takes me forever. I have to go to Monkey Junction in the South Side, but Lord, you can't get there from here.
No, it's horrible. At Hampstead, it was like nothing going on in Hampstead this morning. I was like, what's going on here?
I think
We're getting ready to turn on College Street now, and
Wow.
I
Doing
think-
good.
I mean, now this afternoon it might be a little bit different
Probably.
story, but this morning it was good.
yeah. Well, in the afternoon you'll start having the people from Raleigh showing up.
Mhm.
They'll be coming down
Yeah.
I-40, and it'll be every lane of traffic will be full. People bringing their boats in and all sorts of cool stuff. So anyway,
Yep.
all right. Well,
Y'all
y'all
have a good weekend.
You
You
too.
too,
and
Joy.
be safe out there.
Best to Donald.
Thank
I
you.
love
Y'all take
Marines.
care. And Kelly, I'm gonna message you a number.
I'm gonna say this again. So
I didn't
I
forget,
just was
but I had
looking
to
at one
find it.
thing.
Okay, she's still talking, Kelly.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm going to message you
Like what?
that number you wanted. I
You-
finally found it. They didn't give it to him that day, but I'll message it to you.
She's gonna message you a number that you were looking for, Kelly.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Okay. Y'all have a good weekend.
Her phone's buzzing.
Yeah, somebody else's phone.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Kelly, thank you.
He hears
What's your
Friday.
name? Joy.
That's Joy.
Joy, joy, joy.
Just a reminder, the Jacksonville Ospreys' first game of the season is tomorrow
Will it
night.
be good
Jack
weather?
Amyette
Yep.
Park. Yeah,
Weather
good
should
weather.
be nice.
Playing the New Bern Southpaws. We're going to beat them.
Yeah.
And gates
4
open
to
I
1.
think, at 5:30. Game starts at 7 o'clock. Go to their website.
You can get some food there at 4:30.
They still have tickets available.
Mhm.
So, and I was just looking at their ticket prices. General admission is $11.75. Kids 4 to 12 years of age is $6.75. And then if you buy tickets in groups like general admission, anywhere from buying 20 to 74 tickets, it brings it down to $10.25. Then there's a general admission with food.
Oh, I
$14.75.
want lobster.
Does that mean they give you a hot dog at the gate?
Probably.
No,
Yeah.
real quick. If anybody knows Sergeant Major Jody Armentrout, this guy's awesome. He was on a flight the other day from Tokyo to Houston, and he saw this guy try to open the emergency exit door in the air.
Whoa. That dude.
So he handled business.
Mhm.
Sergeant Major on top
He
of
sat
things.
that, he grabbed the guy, threw him in a seat,
He manhandled him.
and got some zip ties from the
That's what I
from the
carry.
flight attendant, and he had some, and then zip tied the guy, and nope.
All we got to do
He
is go to my
slammed him
camera
to the
bag.
ground, like, you know,
Yeah,
and
watch
then
face first. You
Yeah.
got to gain
Hey.
control.
they got him secured, and he sat next to the man for the rest of the flight.
Uh-huh.
He said there was something.
But he was
he
calm,
said the
too.
guy was. He said in his eyes you could tell something was going on, but he knew. So good for this guy. See, this Marine is amazing.
That's what you need on fast
Yes.
lanes.
Who tried
So-
to call me?
We, the people, are the ones that need to be in control, not
Heck
everybody else. And,
Yeah.
we know how to do it.
It hasn't
There you go.
said they haven't. And he flies back to Japan today. I don't know what he came here for, but
To kick a guy's butt.
yeah. So he said he's a little bit. He's a little bit nervous about flying back. Am I going to have to do this again? I mean, I get it, dude.
Well, it's
but
all
yeah.
right. You got practice, no problem. You're good to go.
Yeah, he says that travelers should always be aware of their surroundings. I agree with that too.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Due
I need to
diligence.
start carrying zip ties too, Ray.
So they don't
Yeah.
get all hinky about them. They don't show up in the radar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Me.
Okay, now tomorrow again, folks. Our
Yes.
friend,
Mhm.
the visitation for Earl Jones, Cowboy Earl. Been around here forever and ever and ever.
Mhm.
He passed away this week on Monday, and he's a great musician, and he's well known in the area among the musical crowd. He's extremely well known, and he's been a great supporter of Onslow County as well.
Yes,
He taught music, taught guitar to a whole lot of people in two different locations. One in Duplin County, I think, is just inside Duplin, plus the one here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
50 years he's been teaching students how to play the guitar and other instruments too, the banjo and drums. We've heard him play drums and over there in the studio when we were there, and doing all sorts of good stuff. And some of them learning to sing. And most of them they didn't do it because they want to go on the road. That's not what the purpose is. They just want to do it because
Right.
they've always wanted to. One of those things. If we could ever line everybody up that he's ever taught, holy
Be a
mackerel,
slew, wasn't it?
it would be around all over Jacksonville, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Because everywhere I went is what it was. I mean, for 3 or 4 years, when my now wife, was a teenager, she was teaching people to swim, kids to swim, and some adults. When I moved back to Jacksonville and we were together, you taught me how to swim. I can't tell you the number of people
Yeah.
that are obviously adults now. You taught me to swim. I said, well, there's another one that didn't drown. You did good. That's people like Earl. They run into have so many people.
Yeah. I
So
agree
many
with that.
people. Steve this morning.
Mhm.
He's a musician in his own right.
Yeah.
He took lessons from Earl.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Good gracious, comes from a musical family. The guy's great. Visitation tomorrow at 3:00 at the Jones Funeral Home
Yep.
on Cheney Avenue here. So make sure you're Jacksonville. And 5:00.
Yeah.
The burial's going to be the following day. If you need information on that, it's readily available.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot the name of it. Something Manning Road Cemetery. There's
Fowler
a family.
Manning.
Women Fowler Manning, I
Fowler
think. Yeah.
Manning
Yeah.
Road, yeah. It's
So,
right there near
Back
the,
Swamp.
Yeah.
yeah, it's near the airport.
The Back Swamp area.
Yep.
Near Back Swamp International.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. If you're going out on a boat, just
Don't do
pay
it
attention
today.
to weather. If you're going to do it, pay really close attention to the weather. Today's not a good day. Tomorrow's not as bad, but
Yeah.
in the waterways and stuff, you'll be okay. Sunday, more better.
Sunday should be good.
Okay.
Much more better.
Much
Better.
more better. Okay.
Much more
I'm
better.
teaching y'all how to speak
Yeah.
good English. You know
I
that?
know. I'm right
My
there with
teachers
you.
would have been so proud of me.
It would have been. All right. Have a great weekend.
Have a
Stay
wonderful
safe.
weekend. We'll see you on Monday morning. You're live and local Real Talk. We're always awake, never woke. That's the way I've been all night long. Bye.